new drinks are now at McDonald's. With refreshers like the Strawberry Watermelon Refresher and the Mango Pineapple Refresher with popping boba. To crafted sodas like the Sprite Berry Blast with berry flavors and cold foam. Who knew ice cold drinks could be so fire? Try them all now at McDonald's.
Refreshers contain caffeine. Copyright 2026, The Coca-Cola Company. Sprite is a registered trademark of The Coca-Cola Company.
This summer, serve up the Cookout Classics, Kraft Mayo and Dressing. Toss green salads with delicious ranch dressing or zesty Italian. Serve smooth, craveably creamy potato salads with mayo. We all know it's not a cookout without Kraft.
LinkedIn is pretty amazing at helping you grow your small business. We cannot stop your new clients from emailing you at 3 a.m. We can help you sell, market, and hire in one place. We cannot help you be in 3 places at once. And while we can't help you organize your calendar, LinkedIn can help you land more clients so you have a calendar to organize. Grow your small business on LinkedIn. Learn more at linkedin.com/smallbusiness.
Hey everyone, welcome to this edition of Spin, Shuffle, Skip on the There Can Only Be One podcast channel. All right, we're continuing a trend here and bringing you the music from the movies with a soundtrack that in 1994 was one hell of a soundtrack, and I guarantee you was in everyone's collection. I know it was in mine. The Reality Bites soundtrack. And here to chomp on this one, Lyle Robichaud's back on the show. How you doing, man?
I'm doing fantastic, Jason. I love this pattern that we're on about going back into the 90s and looking at some of the best soundtracks. Because like we say, almost every time we do this, it's a dying and lost art, creating a perfect soundtrack.
All right. So I know that 2 weeks ago when we talked about the single soundtrack, I was pontificating a question of what is on your Mount Rushmore of soundtracks. So Reality Bites, is it on there?
I don't think Reality Bites is. It's got to be more of a complete package.
All right.
I think in order to be on the Mount Rushmore, you got to have cover to cover. There can't be any skips.
All right.
Which is a difficult task.
Well, you have had 2 weeks to think about this, so we're going to come back to this at the end of the episode. You do not get away with it this time.
Okay.
All right. Well, let's get into this one here. Released February 1st, 1994, hit number 13 on the Billboard 200. It is double platinum in the States and platinum in Canada and Australia. There were a few singles off of this one, including Spin the Bottle by the Juliana Hatfield 3 and Stay I Missed You by Lisa Loeb and 9 Stories. Of course, that song hit number 1 on the Billboard 200, making Lisa Loeb the first ever artist to have a number 1 hit before even being signed to a label. That
really
is how big that song became for a, at that time, not known artist.
That's incredible. I did not know that.
But the thing is, you know that song, and that song was freaking everywhere.
That song was absolutely everywhere. It had a whole moment.
Oh, absolutely. All right. So what we're going to do is going to pick 3 songs each. A spin, a shuffle, and a skip. The spin is one that we hold in high regard. The shuffle is one that, you know what? If it's on, I'm grooving. And the skip doesn't necessarily mean that we dislike the song, but sometimes you just got to pick one. All right, Lyle, let's get us started. Your spin pick from the Reality Bites soundtrack.
Okay, so there's a lot of times when you sit and talk about songs that get stuck in your head and you get angry about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
The earworms. We say we hate it, but our binary brains must love it because they get stuck in our heads to the point where we repeat lyrics and riffs ad infinitum. And I dare say that My Sharona is the best earworm of all time, for you can hear that riff once and it will get stuck in your head for literally days. I can't pick anything else other than the spin because there have been times where I vividly remember driving down the road, hearing My Sharona on the radio, and that's like 48 hours of my life down the tubes because it's stuck in your head. It's stuck in your headspace. So I have to pick My Sharona.
I mean, this is also one of those iconic moments from the movie itself. with Janine Garofalo and Winona Ryder dancing in the convenience store while this song is going on. It is one of those. They basically use this as a marketing. This was the scene that they would put in those advertisements. But I mean, this also continues a trend that was happening in around that time where a movie would become big and they'd have like a classic song in the soundtrack, and then that song would have a resurgence on the charts, very much like Wayne's World did with Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah, almost brings it back to life. And look no further than Stranger Things as well for bringing songs back from the dead.
How many people just discovered that Kate Bush song, Running Up That Hill?
1000%. It's a great song and it deserved the time it's getting, but it happened 30 years after the release?
Oh, let's be honest though. I know exactly how you know that song because of course that song, or at least the cover of that song, was used in one of the greatest wrestling promos of all time.
Yes, you are correct.
Yeah, that placebo version of that song absolutely
really
slays.
Good. It is really good.
You're picturing it now, aren't you?
I am. It's up there with the My Way video package, which says a lot.
Yeah. All right. I mean, for my spin pick, it is really, really hard not to pick Stay, I Missed You by Lisa Loeb. Like, to be able to identify that song with just do-do-do, and then all of a sudden you are right into it. Like, I know that this song was overplayed like anything, but it also falls under that singer-songwriter vibe that I do like. I'll admit that this song being on her first album is okay. Her second album is actually a lot better. But this song is always going to be kind of up there, and I don't really get tired of it. And I love the fact that aside from the acoustic vibe to this, the lyrics itself are almost like a movie monologue unto themselves.
Yeah, it is definitely one of the more lyrically complex on the list,
Mm-hmm.
for sure.
I mean, also shout out to Lisa Loeb, who, of course, has her own show on Sirius XM, basically interviewing stars from the 90s and one of those, hey, you're still around kind of moments. But I love the fact that Lisa Loeb is still in the conversation today.
Which is honestly testament to her, because it does take a lot to kind of bootstrap your way to stay relevant, especially in today's world where everything lasts 15 seconds and away you go. Didn't know she had a show. I think that's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of interviewing people that were in the same situation that she was in, like huge in the 90s, where are they now kind of thing. I love that kind of stuff because you get to see what happened to these. Like you said, the song had a massive minute there.
Mm-hmm.
And where are they now, I think, is still a very great art form. I love hearing about what happens to these folks.
Yeah, and she still performs as well. I mean, she did have a stretch where she was putting out kids' music albums, but she is still putting out original music as well.
Interesting. Children's albums.
Mm-hmm. Not the first person to go down that road, Bare Naked Ladies.
No. Make a lot of money, too. It's profitable if you're good at it. Look at Bluey. Look at the Wiggles. The Wiggles are universally known.
All right. For my shuffle pick, I'm going to geek out a little bit here because I'm a musician.
Yes.
And you know that I am really particular when it comes to being able to edit music. And to edit music, one must know the time signature of that song.
Yes.
So if you're tapping along to Spin the Bottle by the Juliana Hatfield 3, you're not counting to 4. This song's in 5/4 time. It's one of those rare ones that gets released as a single, but it's not in 4/4 time.
Which you don't hear of very often.
Yeah, no. I've often said that like 99.9% of the music that you hear on the radio is in 4/4 time. Normally I'll say that rare occasion is Money by Pink Floyd, which of course is in like 7/8 time. But here you have Spin the Bottle in 5/4 time. But I also love the breakdown too, where you get the 5 minutes in the closet part of this song.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that the drums are almost dialed back in this.
It almost sounds like a ballad that didn't know what time signature it wanted to be in. It is a really good song. I'd never heard this before I listened to this album, by the way. This is my 100% first listen. So it was a really interesting ride for me because this had way more music on it that I didn't know than most of the other soundtracks you've given me. So this is a really interesting find for me.
Yeah. And it also falls into that, female singer songwriter hole that I like to kind of go down into. So yeah, it is in my wheelhouse. All right, your shuffle pick.
My shuffle pick, I honestly went with somebody who I think might be one of the most underrated artists of this time as well. It's Spinning Around Over You by Lenny Kravitz. I just love the guitar riffs that come out of everything he makes. Listen to a lot of his albums on repeat, have one on vinyl. Just think that Lenny Kravitz is great, and hadn't really heard of this song as much because I think I only have one of his greatest hits albums, but really liked it. It's more Lenny Kravitz, so I enjoyed it kind of as a surprise. Oh, wow, he's on here.
Mm-hmm. I mean, normally when he puts a song up there on a soundtrack, you're not going to go wrong with it. I was actually contemplating this for my skip pick, unfortunately.
Really?
Again, you know how I am when I feel like a song doesn't necessarily fit the vibe of the rest of the album, because everything to me has to feel like it belongs to the movie. And I think this one, there's one more that kind of feels a bit more out of place, but this was in that consideration.
Makes sense.
All right. Time to start skipping. So what have you got?
Again, we we find ourselves at an awkward impasse because I did put Lisa Loeb as my skip because it's so overplayed. And it is like, I'm not going to call her a one-hit wonder because I don't like the term one-hit wonder, because if you make one hit, you can live forever. As a lot of people know, if you make one thing that sticks in the public consciousness long enough, I don't think it should be a derogatory term to be called a one-hit wonder. If you make something that 30, 40 years later is still getting airtime and being used in artistic mediums, you win. Like, that's more effort and more than a lot of people will do to society. But man, this song is overplayed. And whenever I hear it, it's usually in some cheesy one thing or another. It's just not my kind of music. So it definitely is my skip. I did not know that she had all these accolades behind it. And now I feel bad, but I don't. It's still my skip. But it's like, I'm glad she's doing okay. Lisa Loeb, I'm glad you're doing okay. It's my skip, but I'm so happy for you.
Now, I am curious. Like, when you first heard this song, did you like it?
Yeah, but at the same time, like, there's just so much more on here that I would go to before I went to a song like this as either my spin or my shuffle. Like, I would probably pick Spin the Bottle before this. Even Bed of Roses was good and a little bit more like upbeat. Turnip Farm, Dinosaur Jr., that's got a rock riff to it at the beginning that's kind of crazy, and I don't really understand it, but I like it. Like, it's not even that it's a terrible song. It's just that it's definitely not my thing, and it's in a pile with a lot of much better things to me personally.
Well, you did. You just took my skip pick because it's Turnip Farm from Dinosaur Jr.
Yeah, Now, you know what? I'm logging off. Just like, we are at opposite ends of the spectrum today.
I'm starting to feel that here. But I mean, the thing is, this is the one that feels like the dichotomy for me from the rest of the album. You know, like,
it definitely is.
Yeah.
It's a left turn hard. Like,
and again, on many other soundtracks, this song would probably work. Like, I actually don't mind like the sludge alternative that you're getting musically, but I think it's because of the vocals. The vocals just are not sitting with me at all.
And it makes sense because Dinosaur Jr. is already kind of an acquired taste. So, you know.
I mean, Dinosaur is an acquired taste if you're a caveman, but I guess.
Wow. Wow. Okay.
Oh, the dad jokes are here.
Okay.
This is what happens.
We are off on something here.
It's not like I sat there and said, you know, I tried some Wookiee meat one time. It was kind of chewy.
So anyway, my spin pick was.
Oh, no. You don't get to get away for this one. So remember earlier in the show, and remember 2 weeks ago, we were talking about the Mount Rushmore of soundtrack albums.
Mount Rushmore, yes.
I know I have talked about The Crow being on there, Singles soundtrack being on the Mount Rushmore. I every now and then a dally with the City of Angels soundtrack. But what's on your Mount Rushmore? I think I know at least one of them.
Guess and I'll tell you the one. Guess and I'll tell you if you're right.
Given how much you loved doing an episode on this one, I'm going to guess the Tarzan soundtrack.
You are so bang on. That's number one with a bullet. Phil Collins, Disney's Tarzan, I think is absolutely incredible, cover to cover. I also absolutely love the Back to the Future soundtrack because I love Huey Lewis and the News.
Fair.
Johnny B. Good's on there. It's fantastic. We covered this, and it's Shrek too. Shrek is up there.
Shrek Rock
is super good. Shrek Rock is incredible, especially because like I am kind of the target audience for it. And does the score count? The score counts for soundtrack.
I mean,
are we doing this?
You could include a score in there if it meant that much.
Jurassic Park.
Mm.
Jurassic Park and or Indiana Jones. I don't know which one would take it, but for sheer, I do sit and listen to the vinyl version of the Last Crusade soundtrack very often. I have the Last Crusade on vinyl, so it's got to be one of those two, but I'm not sure which. But for actual like soundtracks of songs, but my top two would definitely be Back to the Future and Tarzan.
How did the Ready to Rumble soundtrack not end up on that list?
Because out of principle, we can't like that movie or anything about it. So out of principle.
All right, Lyle, thank you so much for this. Now, please remind our listeners what your spin, shuffle, and skip picks are from the Reality Bites soundtrack.
My spin pick was My Sharona. Shuffle was Spinning Round on You, Lenny Kravitz. And my skip was Say I Missed You by Lisa Loeb and 9 Stories. I'm sorry. I'm sure you're doing great now, and I'm happy everyone's okay.
All right, well, my spin is Stay I Missed You by Lisa Loeb and 9 Stories. My shuffle is Spin the Bottle from the Juliana Hatfield 3. And my skip is Turnip Farm by Dinosaur Jr. Lyle, thank you so much for this. Now, please let our listeners know what you're up to and where they can find you out there on the interwebs.
I am still a producer at Anthem Sports and Entertainment, so please watch your TNA Wrestling every Thursday night. And if you want to listen to me talk about wrestling or music or more movies, check out one of my podcasts, Sabotage Everything, on North Pro Wrestling's YouTube page.
All right, dude. Thank you so much for this. And to you, our dear listeners, well, you guys know the drill. If there's an artist you want us to cover on There Can Only Be One, or an album that you want us to cover on Spin, Shuffle, Skip, hit us up on social media at OnlyOneCast, or go to our website, notthatbadcast.com. And while you're there, make sure you subscribe to the page so when we put out a new episode, you get notified immediately. Until next time, he's Lyle, I'm Jay, you guys are awesome. This is Spin, Shuffle, Skip on the There Can Only Be One podcast channel, a proud member of the Pantheon Podcast Network. Take care.